Okay.
It's setting it up. Fingers crossed.
Says live on Facebook recording.
Does it?
It does. Says that there at least. So unless it's lying.
I must admit, I don't see a thing where I'm sitting. What do you see?
Just in the top corner, it says recording live on Facebook, and then there's a little drop down that said meeting is now live on Facebook. So hi Facebook world, if this is working.
World. I just can't see it because I don't know why, but I am looking at my page as opposed to looking at Jillian.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
If this is live, then we need to go to a different place. Because I have to admit, I do not see you at all. All right.
Kangaroo. Is
now
it
I can see you.
Kangaroo Club.
Yes, I can see you.
There we go. Yeah, I see it on there too.
Yay. Hello, everybody. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Awesome. I'm Tracy from What Has Changed Your Life. Welcome back, Jillian Brown, the CEO of Camp My Way. We kind of had some technical difficulties on Sunday. We're trying to fix those problems. So here we are on Zoom via Facebook. Thank you, Jillian, for joining me again. I appreciate you taking the time so we can finish out this interview, this fantastic topic of PTSD. So we left off last time on talking about fear and pushing through that fear. So let's go back to that.
For sure. Yeah, so last we had talked about was you mentioning being nervous going out because you like to have a plan A, B, C, all of those things. And that's huge in doing anything outdoors, for sure. But anything in life is all about having that as much prep work as you need to feel comfortable within that. And having that belief in yourself comes from the knowledge of practicing the tools or doing the training, whatever it may be, to achieve, like I said previously, your goals. So I have fears going out in the wilds at night when it's dark. The fear is that it's something unknown. That's all fear is. It's always fear of the unknown, fear of something we don't have knowledge about. So we're fearful of other people because we have no idea how another person is going to react to something. So we always have fear of other people.
Right.
Well, generally people are afraid of the dark. Generally people are, especially if it's dark outside, you're out in the woods, because you don't know, there could be an animal there. And even if you have knowledge on that animal, it's still unknown whether it's there or not. That's all we're ever afraid of. It's the unknown, right? It's so if you have as much knowledge,
those fears and beliefs,
it's having as much knowledge as possible to overcome them, or at least calm yourself in those moments. When I was a kid, I had a really bad phobia of storms. We were in a couple of really bad ones that had tornado warnings and things. And when I was a kid, I just got obsessed with learning about the weather because I wanted to know how to read those clouds that were coming towards me so I could prepare myself mentally for if it was a storm or whatever it may be. And it was just that learning about it helped overcome it.
I remember when I was a kid, we had a huge tornado that went through Barrie, Ontario back in the day in the 80s. And it was, I'll never forget the sound, the boom that happened when it landed in Barrie. We could hear it where we lived, and we lived in Scarborough at the time. And I remember my mom, we got to go downstairs. We got to go down. We got to hide, right? So we go to the basement, like they tell you, we were hiding in this closet against a brick wall, and because we didn't know where it had landed, right? And
for sure,
so like you, I've always had a bit of a phobia about bad weather because I'm always afraid boom, you know, and then you're going to get caught in this thing, whatever it is, right? So you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It's learning how to live with the fear, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Or have the knowledge so that you can you know that you're safe within
Yeah.
it. Like we're all gonna, what if a tornado hits us, we're gonna be terrified. But if we have that knowledge to get to a safe place, it's gonna at least help instill that like a comfort that you have that feeling of, okay, I might make it through,
Right.
sort of thing, or I'm going to make it through because I have that knowledge to get into the closet that has the brick wall,
Right.
um, sort of thing. If you have no idea what you're doing, well, you're shit out of luck. So
So what are some tips that you use to help you get through those times of fear?
um, I usually try to connect to whatever it is that's causing that fear. The big thing is I know for the most part my fears. So
Mhm.
I'm not so great with, well, not necessarily crowds, but cities, um, and lots of people and being bumped into. That's just a comfort. I just don't really like it. And it's like I said, it's that you don't know, people are unpredictable and cities are unpredictable. So for me, I just avoid them as best I can. I don't, like, if I'm by myself, I don't stay in a city. I don't stay in the city overnight. Like I'll go down and do what I got to do, but
Yeah.
I
You're
will
that way.
drive. Yeah, when I was shooting weddings, photographing weddings, I'd finish at 3 a.m. and no matter where I was, whether it was 3 hours from home, I always got in my car and drove out of the city and either drove all the way home or I'd drive out of the city and camp in my vehicle because I
Right.
just have more comfort being out in the woods somewhere
Mhm.
alone in my Jeep than I do
In the
in
city.
in a, in a hotel in a city by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Um, but that's it. Like connecting to what you're afraid of and learning either you can't, there's nothing I could do to control other people, so I can control myself within those moments and I can just remove myself. Or go and take breaths. Like we practice breathing exercises up here, 5 by 5 breaths. So 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 5 times.
Right.
My partner Terrence Kosakar taught me that, and teaches it to all of our campers. And that's a big thing in any anxiety moment to start your day, any fear, to go and just get that control of yourself.
Yep.
Um,
Breathing is so
so
important, and it's breathing
yeah,
from the belly as opposed to the shoulders. A lot of people breathe, right? And it's so shallow. Whereas
yeah,
if you breathe from the belly and don't move your shoulders, it's such a deeper breath, and it makes you more grounded for sure. I like that. 5 in, 5 out. So tell me
yeah,
how
five
can
times.
5 times, 5 in, 5 out, 5 times. The power of three.
Yeah,
So tell me how
yeah,
Camp
five by
My
five.
Way came to be.
So Terrence, who I just mentioned, he's the founder of
Yep.
Camp My Way.
Mhm.
And give you a little background, he founded it back in 2016, after he was a first responder, a medic, a firefighter in Whistler, and he was a first responder to the opening games day of the Olympics, and a luge athlete passed away in
Yeah.
a tragic accident.
Yes,
He
I
was the first
remember.
responder to that incident. And yeah, and after that incident, he ended up ultimately homeless, losing his family,
Mm.
back on the streets, drugs, all of those side of things, and went to commit suicide and woke up at his cabin. Um, and he started to go fishing, he started to go hiking and fitness, getting back to that, going through withdrawals, all of those things, but out in nature. And he never felt better. And he decided there wasn't this program, that nobody gave him these tools, nobody told him this. All it was going to detox centers and these sorts of things. Um, and he realized that this needed to be something that he could share and he wanted to share with others. He had 2 spare bedrooms. So
Mhm.
he opened up his home to other first responders who were dealing with PTSD, and addiction and this sort of thing. I came to be a part of this after I went through my own journey of leaving an abusive relationship.
That was
Coincidentally, the
rich.
same kind of time frame as Terrence too.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, left this relationship, had to leave my whole world behind, ended up homeless in a tent. As I think we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
Um, Reconnected to nature and to fitness, fresh air, and found healing in using the same tools that Terrence was using, basically. And we both were doing presentations on PTSD and overcoming and getting in nature and healing by natural means. And a mutual friend connected us, saying, how have you guys not met yet? You're in the same area and you guys are doing the exact same thing. And we had a video call, and basically I got up here like a week later to help lead guide a camp for youth, and kind of never left.
Oh, that's amazing. Your story is amazing. And so is his. I mean, that is very
Yeah.
traumatic that he went through. It's so what are some things that people will do when they come to you for help?
So the big thing is it's all about putting in the work. You
Mhm.
have to be ready. If the person that contacts us isn't able to follow up with even just a video call, then
Mhm.
they think they're in the deepest steps, devil's belly, as Terrence says. Um, but if they can't put in that work just to make a phone call, then they're just not ready. They're not actually at the bottom point. Because when you're there, you will crawl on your hands and knees with any means
Mhm.
to get your life back.
Yeah.
Um, and so there's pretty it kind of intense screening process, and we operate all on fund donations. um,
Wow. And how can
yeah,
people
so
donate to the cause?
campmyway.com, we have a GoFundMe there, as well as actually tomorrow an amazing young woman, Amber Champion, is paddling 100 kilometers in a day to raise funds, to sponsor a first responder to come to Camp My Way. So she's got a Facebook
Wow.
page called Paddle for a Cause right now that has links to be able to donate, and she sets out tomorrow to do that. So there's that
That's
way as well. You can
amazing.
support horror. Yeah, so incredible that she's doing that. um yeah, but then once people are up here for the camp,
Yes.
we're just sharing our tools, the tools that we both do every single day. This is a nonstop process. So yeah, I look like I'm happy today. I literally just went for a jog because I was pretty energized from being on the computer and
Yeah.
worried that this might not, like, that the technology might not work again for us. So I
Yes.
went to move that energy, which is all that PTSD is. It's just trapped energy.
Mhm.
Just to
Yep.
be ready for technical difficulties or anything, calm myself. Um, and these are the things that we teach here. And every camper that comes up, they all teach us some new tools too, because they've ultimately made it through their life to this point. So they're doing
Right.
something to move their energy,
They're doing
whether
something
it's,
right.
yeah, whether it's journaling or yoga or going swimming with their family. There's just that we haven't connected the dots that, oh, that is something that's great. That's been helping me doing art, and I haven't done it in 2 years. Well, these past 2 years have been horrible. What am I not doing? Well, it could be that I'm not doing that art
You're
anymore.
not doing that art anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's connecting to those things that are our hidden passions that move our energy, get us creative, get us thinking in a different way, get us living in a very present moment. So when you're living in a present moment, like I was in that tent following my dog, I didn't think about what I had been through, which is so much what everyone says PTSD is. Again, just trapped energy. It's um but we're just so fixated on what we've been through.
Yeah.
And we've already been through it. We're still here. We've been through it. We made it through that. We're
Yes.
here. So
Yep.
why are we fixating on it? Let's focus on what's around us right now. Well, right now there's smoke behind me. There's a fire going. Like, it's
Yep.
crackling. Like, connecting to those when you're on a walk,
Yeah.
your five senses. What do you smell? Or like, smell the fresh blooms around you. What are you
Mhm.
hearing? Oh, well, there's crows. What does that mean? I wonder what they're cawing at. Is there something dead close by? I wonder, what am I feeling from all these things?
Yes.
um there's so much to connect to your senses is huge in making you feel very, very present.
Yes. And I think a lot of people forget when, like you say, like you're in an environment and you're so fixated on what I have to do or where I have to go that you're not thinking about where you are right now and being right here, right now. And even like you said, something as simple as going on a walk and you're like, look at that leaf,
Yeah.
or look at that bird, or look at that rock, or look at that, and examine the rock. What are the colors? Does it sparkle? Is it flat? Like,
Yeah.
and just taking your mind away from all that other stuff to focus on where you are right now in the moment.
Yeah. I tell people to pretend to be a kid again.
Yeah.
Because kids don't think about the past, what happened 2 days ago. They
Yeah.
don't think about that. They're not looking at what are they going to be when they grow up. They don't think about Friday's meal. They're thinking about like the meal that's happening in 5 minutes if mom's got some special treats in her pocket. Like
Exactly.
they're
True.
so in that moment. And even if they've seen that same rock every day for the past 5 years of their entire life, every day that they walk by that same rock that fascinates them, it still fascinates them
Yeah.
because that they're looking at it in that present moment every single
Yeah.
day.
And with an open mind,
Yeah.
right? You've
It's
got to have an open mind, and then you
yeah.
can see things that have always been there.
That's a big reason for nature being so healing is because there's no judgment. Everything around you is in perfect harmony, even within the imperfections. It's all accepting.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like being self-conscious and dealing with that kind of issues, how I view myself or how I was viewing myself, especially right after leaving that relationship.
Yeah.
Being somewhere where, for one, there weren't like mirrors and I wasn't seeing myself all the time. And I wasn't seeing other people who have makeup on and have their hair all done and all these things and feel this pressure. I was somewhere where I could look and like one leaf is torn and the next leaf is perfect. And yet they're both growing and the plant is still surviving, whether one's got a rip in it or one doesn't.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's true. And I think sometimes society puts so much pressure on people to look a certain way, to be a certain way. And that is so heavy. You know what I mean? It's so heavy that people have these
for
external
sure.
pressures. So with you saying being out in nature and not having to worry about all that, I kind of think that would be so freeing.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I, it's, this is something I've wanted to talk about for a bit, but seeing all these social media people they're putting a photo of them like posing in a pose where they look all like
Yeah.
lean and gorgeous, and then they pose where they're not flexing and they're just like in a normal pose or they're like really unflattering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Like body image awareness, that's great. Accept your body no matter what it is, stretch marks, all that stuff, that's fantastic. But we're still fixated on how we look.
Yeah.
We're still teaching people to be fixated on how they look. That's the flaw in that. Every time I see those, I'm always like, oh, that's great, you're beautiful either way. But
Yeah.
where's the message of how about you go out in nature? How about you go take care of yourself? How about you maybe cake isn't the best option and veggies are, like, because it's
Yeah.
healthier, not because one makes you fat and one doesn't. It's because
Right.
like, why are we still we're still so fixated on imagery of ourselves
Yeah.
that it's still going to result in judgment and being self-conscious, because now we're looking at these people that are like showing fat and all these things and we're looking at them being like, well, I don't look like them either. Like
Yeah. I don't look
there's
like that
still
at
like
all. Yeah.
yeah, there's
I saw a
still all
quote.
of those.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
saw a
want to hear
quote
your
the
quote.
other day. Yes. Well, basically, I'm gonna paraphrase because I can't remember the exact quote, but it so resonated with me that why aren't we teaching girls and women to be strong, to be fit, to be healthy, not about
Yeah,
being thin, having a six pack, having, like, why aren't we changing that narrative? And I think it's so
yeah,
important that we change that narrative because guess what? We're all built differently. right?
Yeah.
We all have different features. Our DNA is different, and there is no two women, I should say, pardon me, woman, my lord, that look the same. And why are we teaching our kids what I know? I can't even talk. It's 7 o'clock at night. I need to go. But why aren't we teaching our kids this, right? Like
Right.
it just,
Yeah,
I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that is it. That's exactly what we need to be doing. Teaching our girls to be strong, to be,
yeah,
like strong is beautiful, and strong means so many different things. It doesn't mean, buff and woo, right? It means strength within them,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
And body image and all that stuff. I know it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I left that relationship and I started to share about what I had been through and being in an abusive relationship, one
Mhm.
of the comments that really got to me was, oh, but you're so strong. How could you go? I would never expect you to go through that. How could you go through something like that? Like all these things, you're such a strong woman. And it made me feel even worse about what I had been through. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It doesn't matter if I'm like, if you think I'm strong and it, because you're looking at me and thinking I'm strong in a physical sense. And yeah, I have a good head on my shoulders and I can put on a good mask, as we talked about last time. But
Mhm.
to say that to me, that like, that doesn't make me feel great about the fact that, oh, so you're saying I was weak for staying in that or being in that or letting that happen. That was like how I perceived that statement. Um,
Right.
rather than it being, oh, you're such a strong woman in general for overcoming that or for sticking by or whatever it may be. There's, I don't know, that it was just it's something that's always kind of stuck with me, was that comment of but because it wasn't by just one person, it was just, yeah, it was
Yeah.
one of those
People
ones.
try to be helpful, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote a post a little while ago about um how we need to stop having our fairy tales and all these books about finding our one true love, and because it makes women or kids feel like that's the main goal in life, is
Yeah.
to find love rather than to find a passion. I was just trying to find it so I could read it. Here, I just got it. It says, oops, I'm on a new computer, so I'm still trying to like also figure out technology. Okay. That it reads, why are all of our fairy tales, shows, and the lullabies we share with our children finishing with a happily ever after, with their true love, or now some shifting to merely being accepting of ourselves? I'm not disagreeing, is a great lesson, but how can we teach our children to strive so much for love, money, worth, and not passion, a passion beyond that of any storybook? Perhaps because to capture the feeling of connecting to a passion is unexplainable. It goes beyond love, and yet it is love. Finding a passion awakens your soul. It allows you to learn love of all kinds through the failures and the accomplishments. A passion will certainly show you both. You learn to accept yourself through your passion, as it is one of the few things in our lives that is yours and yours alone. Only you can lose it. Only you can find it. Only you can put it aside and ignore it. Strive to achieve it, fulfill, or create your passion, bears your true self, and therefore shares a courage, a confidence, and the most incredible of pure beauty that one can exude to the world.
Wow. That is powerful on this wonderful Women's International Day. That is powerful. Oh
I'll
my
have to reshare
goodness.
that one. That
Yes,
one's from a little while ago, but
that's
yeah, it's
powerful.
yeah. And I
Huge.
posted this photo that's one that I've never shared of. It's a beautiful photo of me, which I don't say that about myself. And
Yeah,
I'm sitting on my kayak. It's black and white, and I'm holding my kayak paddle
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I was really proud of how I looked at that time, because I knew that I had put a lot of passion into myself and
Mhm,
everything that I was doing at the time.
mhm.
Um, so for me, people may look at it and be like, "Why would you put that picture?" It like it's you're not holding your cameras or anything, but it was about me feeling my passions in that photo to
Yeah.
connect it with that.
Yeah. That's amazing. No, we'll definitely have to share that one. That is
Thanks.
powerful. I love that. I love that. I think women and children and girls especially need to understand if they're going to fall in love with something, they need to fall in love with themselves. Your first love should be yourself,
Yeah,
right? And I know I've struggled
for
with
sure.
that my whole life, right? Going back from when I was younger, and growing up in a home where my brother has always been a very attractive person. And so, you know, I was not. And so that was known to me. That was made known to me my whole life that I wasn't something like that. Right. And so, you grow up with that. And so you don't know how to fall in love with yourself because you haven't been told that you're lovable.
Yeah,
Right. But I think that
yeah,
narrative for young girls needs to change. It
yeah,
needs to change. They need to fall in love with themselves first.
yeah. And not like, not in the way that like social media is still portraying of falling in love with yourself, your body. Like, yeah,
No,
it's, you got to have confidence, but like,
it's your
it's not
soul.
about, it's not about accepting you're fat and you're thin. It's not about accepting that. It's about like all of you, your insides, because being beautiful doesn't make you attractive to the world.
No,
It
it's
like,
here. It
yeah,
starts
it's
in
it's
here.
it's the energy that you exude that
Yeah.
attracts your mate, your job, your career. Like, um, only you are gonna get those things by what you put out to the world.
What your energy gives off is what you get back.
Yeah, and that goes, all of that goes so much with the topic of PTSD and mental health too, because you walk into a psychologist's office or a doctor's office
Mm-hmm.
and lay your life out there for them, expecting them to heal you in some way. Well, they're not going to do jack shit, excuse my language, but they're not going to
Okay.
do anything. Yeah, they may write you a prescription for a bunch of pills to mask the pain of whatever you're going through, but they're not going to heal you. You want to heal you want to be better. You want to be a better human being, whether you feel like you have PTSD or whatever the doctors have told you have. You want to be more beautiful to the outside world. Well, only you can make you be those things. Only you
Yep.
are going to get you through life. Only you can make you have the best career, the ultimate career of your dreams. Only you can achieve that. You can't
Yep.
just sit on your ass all day and expect to get promoted or to be some whatever it is, like to be
Yep.
going and traveling the world all the time. You can't just sit there thinking it's going to happen. You have to create it.
Yep. You have to create it. You have to work for it and go for it.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yes,
believe that you can do it. Believe that you can accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish.
for sure. Yeah. Terrence and
100%.
I both get these, and I know so many people that put their life out on social media, or their life, I should use, on
Mhm.
social media or anywhere, even just going and talking about it, because we're only really talking in person about the good parts of our lives. So
That's
many
true.
people react with, I wish I had your life. It's like, well, okay. Well, it's, for one, it's not like I don't have my problems too. But
Yeah.
for two, you want my life, go make it. Go create it.
Go
Like, I
create
didn't sit there expecting the person that I thought that exact same thing about. I didn't sit there, well, just fingers crossed their life's going to jump over and somehow be mine. Like,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
go out and make it
You have
happen.
to work. You have to work. You got to put the work in.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Whether it's, yeah,
Absolutely.
overcoming mental health issues, PTSD, which is again just trapped energy, putting in the work to move that energy, whether
Mhm.
you want to be really fit and thin and look like a sports model, well, you're going to have to put in a heck of a lot of work.
Yeah.
You want to be a CEO of a company, well, you're going to probably have to go get a degree, and you're going to have to work for 20 years for the same company,
Yeah.
in all likelihood. And you're probably going to have a 9 to 5 job for a long time, sit at an office desk. But
Yeah.
if you want to be a CEO one day, you have to do that.
You
You
have to go
have
out
to
and do
be
it.
willing and to put in that work and that effort.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be a millionaire. Millionaires didn't just become millionaires. Millionaires probably had the most failures in any job title, in anything in their life. They've probably failed the most. But you know what happens? They kept going. Every failure they learned, and they didn't stop putting in the work.
Yeah, it becomes a lesson, right? It becomes a lesson. So the way I look at failures are lessons. It's
For
setting
sure.
you up for what it is that you want to get to at some point, wherever that end goal is for whoever. It's those lessons you have to learn along the way, because the reality is we didn't wake up and go, oh, I'm going to be a CEO and this is how, like, you have to make boo-boos to get there, right? You're
Yeah.
going to make
And
mistakes to get there.
and that's so much with, again, that ties into Camp My Way. Is one of the big things is we teach forgiveness every day. We do journaling and forgive somebody. It can be yourself, it can be a family member, whatever. Forgive somebody, and then write something you're thankful for, be grateful for.
Grateful. Yeah.
You do that enough every day. You forgive, say, your spouse, you forgive the person that abused you every day and every day. Well, eventually, when that shifts to you're forgiving them and you're thanking them, then you found ultimate healing for that. Because everything that we've been through, like you said, every failure, every success, everything we've been through, every compliment, every insult, it is how we choose to accept those moments and how we choose to grow from them. And if we can take that forgiveness and be grateful for those moments, that's where the biggest amount of growth is personally and for personal development. Is shifting that forgiving somebody into, wow, I am so grateful I had that moment, because I wouldn't be where I am, I wouldn't be who I am without it.
Right. And forgiving doesn't necessarily mean forgetting. Because
Oh yeah,
people think, oh, well, I've forgiven that person, let's forget about it. No, forgiving doesn't mean you forget, but it helps you move forward with life.
for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So how do people apply to be able to go to Camp My Way? How do people do that process?
They just have to reach out through Camp My Way. There's an email, phone number, or reach out to Terrence Kosakar or myself. Really easy. Yeah, just through social media, any of our accounts. Both of us are contacted regularly through those. Or yeah, just go to campmyway.com, or Facebook, Instagram, any of those. It's pretty easy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've been chatting. I'm probably taking up more of your time than you need.
No, I love it.
This is a
I love
great conversation.
Yeah, no problem. I'm totally fine with it.
If you guys are interested, or you have a loved one that you would like me pass this information on to them that you think might benefit from going to Camp My Way, reach out on Facebook and Instagram, www.campmyway.com or ca.
.com.
.com. Go on there and let's get some help. Everybody, thank you very much for this part 2.
It works perfect.
Yes, what has changed your life? Thank you so much, Jillian. This was awesome. I really appreciate you being here with us, and I really appreciate you coming back for the second half of this fantastic talk on PTSD and telling us your story and your journey. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Tracy.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.